Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade. When it comes to building wealth, this quote couldn't be more accurate. We get discouraged when we don't see immediate results, then abandon the very strategies that would have made us wealthy. In this video, I'm showing you the complete 20/30/50 wealth system that transforms small, consistent actions into massive financial results. Like when I started investing just $50 weekly and saw minimal growth for 2 years before my portfolio suddenly accelerated. You'll learn why 54% of Americans have side hustles, how to overcome financial procrastination, and a 90-day setup plan for automatic wealth building. The financial reality check. Why most people stay broke. Did you know that 78% of workers live paycheck to paycheck? That's not just low-income earners. That includes people making six figures too. Pretty shocking, right? I mean, we're talking about folks earning $100,000 plus who still somehow manage to spend every dollar that comes in. When I first saw that statistic, I honestly thought it had to be a mistake. But the numbers don't lie, and they paint a pretty grim picture of our financial reality. Here's what typically happens when people talk about money troubles. They immediately point fingers at all these external factors. It's inflation. Have you seen housing costs lately? My salary is way too low. And look, these challenges are definitely real. Grocery bills are skyrocketing, rent is through the roof in most cities, and wages haven't exactly kept pace with the cost of living. But here's the uncomfortable truth that most financial gurus won't tell you. Your income isn't actually the main problem. I know that sounds crazy, but stick with me for a second. Think about what happens when most people get a raise. They celebrate, maybe treat themselves to something nice, and then a few months later, they're right back to feeling just as stressed about money as before. The numbers in their bank account might be bigger, but they're still ending each month with basically nothing left over. This phenomenon has a name in behavioral economics. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the sneakiest wealth killers out there. Imagine your spending as a balloon that expands to fill whatever container it's in. When your income increases, the balloon simply expands to fill that larger space. Got a 10% raise. Your expenses expand by about 10% too. It's like a bizarre financial law of physics. Let me break down how this usually plays out. You get that raise or bonus you've been working toward. At first, it's just little upgrades, maybe switching from budget coffee to Starbucks, or finally signing up for that streaming service. Then it's slightly nicer clothes, eating out more often, or upgrading your phone earlier than necessary. None of these things seem extravagant on their own. They're small improvements that feel reasonable given your new income. But these little changes add up dramatically. Before you know it, your lifestyle has completely adjusted to your new income level, sometimes even exceeding it. The worst part, this happens so gradually that you don't even realize it. You're on a psychological treadmill where you're running faster, but staying in exactly the same financial spot. This psychological trap is exactly what keeps those 78% of workers, even the high earners, living paycheck to paycheck. To illustrate this, let me tell you about Mike, who I worked with last year. Mike's story perfectly demonstrates how our minds sabotage our financial progress. Over 5 years, he doubled his salary from $60,000 to $120,000, a massive achievement that should have transformed his finances. But when we reviewed his numbers, we discovered something alarming. Not only did he not have more savings, he actually had less than when he was making half as much. And he had taken on about $15,000 in credit card debt. When Mike was earning $60,000, he lived in a modest one-bedroom apartment, drove a reliable used car, and was careful with spending. But as his income grew, his lifestyle expanded dramatically. He upgraded to a luxury apartment with amenities he barely used. He leased a new car with fancy features. His wardrobe transformed from budget-friendly to designer labels. His grocery habits shifted from cooking at home to ordering takeout multiple times a week. None of these changes happened overnight. That's what makes lifestyle inflation so dangerous. It's a slow creep that happens month by month, dollar by dollar, until suddenly you're making double, but somehow have less financial security than before. This is exactly why traditional budgeting advice fails for so many people. Most financial advice treats the symptom, you don't have enough money, rather than addressing the actual cause, your psychological relationship with money. Telling someone to just spend less and save more is like telling someone with a broken leg to just walk it off. The problem runs much deeper. Standard budgeting typically focuses on restricting spending and categorizing every dollar, but it rarely addresses why you spend the way you do or the unconscious patterns driving your financial decisions. It's all about the numbers, with almost zero attention paid to the psychology behind those numbers. Have you ever created a budget, stuck to it perfectly for a week or two, and then completely abandoned it? You're not alone. Studies show that about 80% of budgets fail within months. Not because people are weak, but because traditional budgeting approaches don't account for how our brains actually work with money. What's really keeping you trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle? It's your money psychology and the lack of a wealth system. There are specific psychological money blocks holding you back without you realizing it. Maybe you have a scarcity mindset that causes you to splurge whenever money comes in because deep down you don't believe it will last. Or perhaps you have unconscious money scripts from childhood, like rich people are greedy, or I don't deserve wealth, that sabotage your efforts. Some people struggle with financial avoidance, where checking their bank account causes so much anxiety that they simply don't. And then there's the comparison trap, where social media has you constantly feeling like you need to keep up with everyone else's lifestyle. These psychological barriers are powerful. You can double your income, but if these underlying patterns remain unaddressed, you'll find yourself in the same financial position, just with fancier stuff around you. This is why we need to approach wealth building differently. It's about how you think about what you earn. It's about creating systems that work with your psychology instead of against it. And it's about developing habits that automatically move you toward financial freedom. The good news: once you understand the psychological forces at play, you can transform your relationship with money. You can break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle and build actual wealth that grows over time, regardless of what your paycheck looks like. The psychology of money: why your brain sabotages your wealth. The strangest part about these psychological money forces isn't just that they exist. It's that they've been influencing your financial decisions since before you ever had a bank account. Those moments when your parents argued about money when you were 8, your brain recorded all of that, creating a financial blueprint you're following today without even realizing it. Let me introduce you to behavioral economics, a fascinating field that blends psychology and economics to explain why we make weird money choices. Even the Securities and Exchange Commission dedicates staff to studying this field because it's crucial to understanding why smart people make poor financial decisions. We all do this. When making money decisions, your brain isn't the rational calculator you believe. It's more like an emotional teenager with a credit card, making choices based on feelings while pretending they're logical. This is backed by Nobel Prize-winning research. Take loss aversion, for example. Your brain experiences the pain of losing $100 as twice as powerful as the pleasure of finding $100. This mental quirk explains why people avoid financial risks that could build wealth. You might avoid investing in a promising opportunity because potential loss feels more significant than potential gain, even when the math suggests otherwise. Your brain also falls for the anchoring effect. The first time you heard your parents discuss what was expensive versus cheap became your unconscious anchor point for judging prices today. If your mom complained about a $4 coffee being highway robbery 20 years ago, you might still feel guilty buying one today, even though $4 represents a much smaller percentage of your current income than it did of her budget back then. Let me tell you about Sarah. She earned $85,000 with minimal debt and affordable housing. Yet whenever her savings reached $3,000, she'd find an emergency to drain it: a spontaneous trip, unnecessary electronics, or shopping sprees. This cycle repeated for years. During a money mindset workshop, Sarah discovered something important. At age 6, her family lost their home when her father's business failed and her parents divorced. She remembered overhearing her mom say, "We got too comfortable with that money in the bank, and look what happened." This childhood trauma created an unconscious belief: having savings equals danger. Her brain was protecting her by ensuring she never had too much money saved. Once she recognized this pattern, she could begin addressing it. Beyond childhood experiences, emotions significantly impact financial decisions. Fear and anxiety might make you overly cautious, avoiding investments altogether. Meanwhile, greed can push you toward excessive risks like questionable get-rich-quick schemes without proper research. Complexity aversion. Avoiding things that seem complicated. Costs the average person over $1,200 yearly. You might delay funding your 401k because investment options seem confusing, or avoid opening a brokerage account because investing feels overwhelming. Rather than learning enough to start, your brain says, "This is hard, let's watch Netflix instead." These mental money traps operate below conscious awareness. You don't wake up planning to make irrational financial decisions based on childhood trauma and emotional biases. These forces quietly guide your choices, causing repeated money mistakes while you wonder why you can't progress financially. Consider this real-world example. When you receive a tax refund or bonus, do you immediately think about purchases? That's your scarcity mindset activating. When operating with limited resources, your brain gets programmed to seek immediate rewards when extra money appears, triggering short-term thinking. I better enjoy this now before it disappears. This explains why many people treat windfalls differently than regular income. Someone who carefully budgets their paycheck might spend a $2,000 tax refund in a weekend without hesitation. Their brain categorizes it as found money, rather than part of their financial system. The good news: understanding these psychological forces lets you start reprogramming your brain's response to money. It begins with awareness, recognizing when emotions drive decisions rather than rational thinking. When feeling anxious about investing, ask yourself, is this legitimate caution based on research, or is loss aversion stopping me from taking a reasonable risk? When tempted to spend a sudden cash influx, pause and ask, is my scarcity mindset driving this decision? Breaking these patterns requires creating new anchor points. If your experience has taught you that debt is always bad, or investing is only for rich people, you need to establish new reference points based on current financial realities. These psychological forces vary across generations. If your parents experienced major economic downturns like the Great Depression or 2008 financial crisis, you might have inherited their financial anxiety despite never facing similar hardships. These secondhand money traumas shape your behavior powerfully. For some, addressing psychological money blocks requires professional help. Financial therapists specialize in helping people identify and overcome these deeply rooted money issues. They help you understand how personal history shaped your relationship with money and develop strategies to overcome harmful patterns. But for many, simply becoming aware of these psychological forces is the first step toward change. Pay attention to your emotional state when making money decisions. Do you feel anxiety checking your bank account? Does discussing investments make you uncomfortable? These emotional reactions reveal your underlying money psychology. Practice mindful spending, pausing before purchases to consider not just affordability, but motivation. Are you addressing a genuine need or filling an emotional void? Regret aversion, fear of wrong decisions, can paralyze financial choices. Many avoid investing altogether, fearing they'll pick the wrong investments. Understanding this fear as a psychological bias, not a rational risk assessment, helps you move forward. The freedom vision, what your financial future could actually look like. Now that we understand these psychological barriers, let's talk about what you're actually working toward. Here's something wild. Nearly 8 out of 10 people who feel financially stuck can't specifically describe what their life would look like if they achieved financial freedom. Your brain literally can't generate motivation without a clear target to aim for. It's like trying to navigate to a destination you can't visualize. Pretty much impossible, right? When most people think about financial freedom, they picture this vague, faraway scenario where they're lounging on a beach somewhere, maybe sipping a fancy drink with one of those little umbrellas. But that fuzzy daydream feels about as achievable as winning the lottery, which is exactly why your brain doesn't take it seriously. Your brain needs something concrete and tangible, something it can actually work toward. Financial freedom means having control over your time and your choices. It's about waking up in the morning and deciding how you want to spend your day based on what matters to you, not based on what pays the bills. This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of chasing some nebulous dollar amount that keeps moving further away, you're working towards specific levels of freedom that create immediate benefits in your life. You don't have to wait until you're fully financially free to start experiencing these benefits. Let me break this down into 3 distinct wealth stages that create dramatically different lifestyles. The first is security, having 6 months of expenses saved in an easily accessible account. When you reach this stage, something remarkable happens in your brain. That constant background anxiety about unexpected expenses or losing your job starts to fade. Research shows that financial stress significantly impacts overall well-being, linked to depression and reduced productivity. But when you achieve financial security, your brain literally processes stressful events differently. I remember talking to a client named Taylor, who hit this security milestone last year. She told me, "For the first time in my adult life, I didn't panic when my car started making a weird noise. I knew I could handle whatever the mechanic told me." That's the profound change that comes with security. The feeling of calm when you glance at your savings account and see those 6 months of expenses sitting there like a safety net beneath you. Your shoulders relax, your sleep deepens, and everyday decisions become less fraught with worry. As you build on this foundation, you reach the second stage, flexibility, when your passive income covers 50% of your monthly expenses. With half your expenses covered automatically, doors begin to open. You gain options you didn't have before, reducing working hours, being more selective about projects, or pivoting your career. Consider Jordan, a marketing director at a tech company. His reality consisted of 55-plus-hour work weeks and a soul-crushing commute. The job wasn't fulfilling, but the salary paid his bills, trapping him in a cycle that felt inescapable. What made his situation particularly frustrating was knowing exactly what he wanted. More time with his family and space to pursue creative projects, but seeing no path to get there. Rather than waiting decades until he could fully retire, Jordan took a different approach. He methodically built passive income streams through dividend stocks and a niche affiliate website. When his passive income reached $3,000 per month, covering about half his essential expenses, Jordan approached his boss and negotiated a 4-day workweek. The conversation focused on how he could deliver the same value in a more focused time frame. Because Jordan had his financial flexibility cushion, he could afford to take this risk. The result: Jordan now enjoys 3-day weekends every week. He uses that time for his side projects, family, and hobbies that previously got squeezed out. He's created a lifestyle that feels free to him right now, while still working toward the final stage. That final stage is freedom, when your passive income exceeds all your expenses. At this point, working becomes completely optional. You choose projects solely because they interest you, not because you need the paycheck. This level gives you complete control over your time, which research consistently shows is one of the strongest predictors of happiness and life satisfaction. These 3 stages build on each other, creating a clear roadmap for your financial journey. Each milestone delivers meaningful benefits to your life right now, not just in some distant future. This makes the entire process more motivating because you're working towards specific, achievable targets with real-world impacts. The key is replacing vague financial aspirations with a concrete vision that your brain can actually get excited about. When I ask most people about their financial goals, they say things like, "I want to be comfortable," or "I want enough to retire someday." These goals are too abstract for your brain to latch onto. Instead, try this. Picture yourself reaching security. How would it feel to have 6 months of expenses saved? How would you sleep at night? What decisions would you make differently? Then imagine hitting flexibility. What would you do with your time if you only needed to work half as much? Would you spend more time with family? Finally, write that book. Start that business. The more vividly you can imagine these scenarios, the more real they become to your brain, and the more motivated you'll be to make them happen. This approach is backed by research in behavioral science. When people connect their financial goals to specific life improvements, they're more likely to stick with their plans and make progress. By breaking financial freedom into these concrete stages, you build belief in your capability step by step. The wealth blockers. 5 financial traps keeping you stuck. Financial education is powerful, but knowledge alone won't save you from the invisible traps designed to keep you financially stuck. What's truly mind-blowing is how these 5 wealth blockers actually intensify as your income grows. The very thing most people believe will solve their money problems. Let's get real about something that nobody likes to talk about. Earning more money often makes your financial situation worse, not better. I know that sounds completely backward, but hear me out. When your income increases, these psychological traps become stronger. That $2,000 shopping spree that seemed extravagant before now appears reasonable when your paycheck grows. This explains why 65% of Americans worry they'll never have enough for retirement despite earning decent incomes. Most of us are taught that financial success comes from hustle. Work harder, earn more, and everything will fall into place. But this misses the complete picture. If you're struggling financially at $50,000 a year, doubling your income to $100,000 merely gives you larger problems with fancier packaging. These 5 wealth blockers function like invisible quicksand in your financial life. The harder you struggle without understanding them, the deeper you sink. They actively prevent wealth creation regardless of your income level. We've already discussed complexity aversion, avoiding financial tasks because they seem overwhelming. This trap compounds over time. Each day you postpone investing isn't simply lost time. You're forfeiting the compounding effect of that money over decades. This inaction costs the average person over $1,200 annually. The second wealth blocker is the instant gratification loop, a direct product of brain wiring. Your limbic system prioritizes immediate rewards over future security, making saving and planning difficult even when you logically know better. Remember the last unnecessary purchase you made when you should have been saving? That wasn't a character flaw. Your brain's wiring made the decision before your rational mind caught up. Your limbic system actively undermines wealth creation by pushing you toward immediate pleasures instead of building emergency funds or retirement savings. The third trap is financial perfectionism, believing you need the perfect plan before acting. This keeps you permanently stuck while others make progress. Many people spend years researching the perfect investment strategy or waiting for the right time, only to realize they've made zero progress. This perfectionism manifests as excessive research, analysis paralysis, or waiting for ideal conditions. Financial progress requires consistent action, not perfection. Setting realistic goals helps overcome these hurdles, but perfectionists often establish impossible standards that guarantee failure from the start. The fourth wealth blocker is income dependency, building a lifestyle that consumes nearly all your active income, leaving no margin for saving, investing, or handling unexpected expenses. Consider Alex, who increased his income by 40% over 3 years, yet couldn't save anything. Every raise disappeared into lifestyle upgrades, nicer apartment, fancier restaurants, premium subscriptions. When the pandemic reduced his hours, he had zero financial cushion. His higher income had actually made him more financially vulnerable. Income dependency creates a precarious situation where you constantly live on the edge. During inflationary periods, this trap becomes more dangerous as purchasing power shrinks while lifestyle expenses remain fixed. Financial planning isn't just helpful, it's essential for preventing disaster. The fifth and possibly most dangerous wealth blocker is isolated optimization, improving individual financial aspects without creating a complete system. This resembles upgrading to premium fuel in a car with 4 flat tires while expecting better performance. Jamie exemplifies this problem perfectly. She bounced between different financial strategies for years, first obsessively tracking every penny, then abandoning that to dive into investing, then starting a time-consuming side hustle. Despite her efforts, her net worth barely increased because these isolated actions weren't working as a coordinated system. While someone with a systemic approach might have less specialized knowledge in each area, their results would far exceed Jamie's because their efforts would compound rather than compete with each other. Each component of your financial life interconnects. Budgeting affects saving. Saving enables investing. Investing creates passive income. And passive income reduces income dependency. Without addressing all components systematically, you'll keep spinning your wheels despite working incredibly hard. These wealth blockers intensify with increased income. The instant gratification loop strengthens because you can afford more immediate pleasures. Financial perfectionism intensifies since you have more to lose. Income dependency expands as lifestyle upgrades seem reasonable, and isolated optimization becomes more tempting with more financial levers to pull. This explains why people making $100,000, $200,000, or even $300,000 annually still feel financially stressed. Their income increased, but so did the psychological traps holding them back. Breaking through these mental barriers is the real key to wealth building. The fear of failure often prevents people from taking calculated risks necessary for wealth creation, but failing is part of reaching success. Every wealthy person has made serious financial mistakes. The difference is they use those failures as learning opportunities rather than reasons to quit. Procrastination compounds these wealth blockers. Every day without financial action is an opportunity lost. Money that could be growing remains stagnant or gets spent. Many people also carry limiting money beliefs without realizing it. Perhaps you grew up hearing, money is the root of all evil, or rich people are greedy. These beliefs create invisible barriers to financial success. Instead, the 20/30/50 wealth system, the formula that actually works. Let's break away from those negative money stories that have been playing on repeat in your head. When was the last time someone told you that enjoying your money today while building wealth for tomorrow was actually necessary for success? That's right, traditional financial advice has it all backwards. The 20/30/50 wealth system works because it acknowledges something most financial gurus completely ignore. You're a human being with actual psychological needs, not a spreadsheet. Think about it. Most money advice feels like it was written by robots who've never experienced joy. Save everything. Invest the rest. Never buy anything fun. Eat ramen until retirement. No wonder 92% of people abandon these plans faster than last year's diet resolution. What makes the 20/30/50 system different is that it's designed to work with your brain instead of against it. Your mind craves balance between present enjoyment and future security, something behavioral economists have been studying for decades. When financial plans ignore this psychological reality, they're basically setting you up to fail before you even start. Here's how the 20/30/50 formula flips conventional wisdom on its head. Instead of starting with saving, which feels like deprivation, it starts by acknowledging that both your present and future self matter equally. The formula breaks down like this. The first 20% gets dedicated to aggressive growth. These are your investments that compound over time. This includes diversified index funds, dividend-paying stocks, or even real estate investment trusts that generate returns while requiring minimal management. These assets eventually create passive income streams, generating money while you sleep. This portion is non-negotiable. It's the first money that leaves your account, not the last. The next 30% goes towards strategic saving. This is purposeful capital accumulation for specific goals. Your security cushion, major life upgrades, and opportunities that require capital. Maybe you're saving for a down payment on a house, preparing for a career transition, or building that 6-month emergency fund. The key difference: you're saving with intention and purpose, not just because some finance guru made you feel guilty. The final 50% is for intentional lifestyle design. Notice I didn't say expenses or spending. Those words make it sound like money leaking out of your life. This portion is about consciously choosing how your money enhances your current quality of life. It's creating a life that feels abundant right now, not someday in the distant future when you're too old to enjoy it. What makes this approach revolutionary is how it balances your psychological needs. Your brain has a present bias, a natural tendency to value immediate rewards more highly than future ones. Traditional budgeting fights against this fundamental aspect of human psychology, creating an internal tug-of-war that drains your mental energy and willpower. The 20/30/50 system acknowledges this reality instead of pretending it doesn't exist. It gives you permission to enjoy life today while still building for tomorrow. This psychological alignment is why it succeeds where other approaches fail. When your financial system works with your natural tendencies instead of against them, sticking with it becomes effortless. But here's where the magic really happens: automation. The most powerful aspect of this system is removing willpower from the equation entirely. Your brain has a limited supply of willpower each day, and making financial decisions drains this resource quickly. By setting up automatic transfers that move money according to your 20/30/50 formula the moment your paycheck arrives, you bypass this limitation completely. Think of automation as a self-driving car for your finances. Once programmed, it takes you to your financial destinations without you having to navigate every turn. You never see the money that's meant for investing or saving, so you never have to actively resist spending it. This creates a wealth-building machine that continues working even when life gets busy or your motivation fluctuates. The best part: this system creates a positive feedback loop. As your investments start generating returns and your savings accumulate, you experience small wins that release dopamine in your brain. These positive emotions strengthen your new financial habits, making them increasingly automatic over time. Meanwhile, the 50% allocated to lifestyle means you never feel deprived or resentful of your financial plan. You're actually enjoying the journey. And the results speak for themselves. Take Tasha, who implemented this system after years of failed budgeting attempts. Within just 18 months, she accumulated $43,000 between investments and savings, all while maintaining a lifestyle she genuinely enjoyed. The key wasn't earning more. Her income stayed relatively stable. It was having a system that worked with her psychology rather than against it. What's particularly powerful about Tasha's story is that she describes the process as surprisingly easy compared to her previous attempts at budgeting. She reported feeling less stressed about money despite being more engaged with her finances. That psychological shift, from seeing money management as a painful chore to experiencing it as an empowering system, makes all the difference in long-term success. Another game-changing aspect of the 20/30/50 formula is how it directly addresses lifestyle design rather than treating it as an afterthought. Most financial advice focuses exclusively on cutting expenses, creating a scarcity mindset that makes people feel like they're constantly depriving themselves. The 20/30/50 system reframes that 50% as an opportunity to consciously design a life you love within sustainable parameters. The system also creates a profound sense of financial control that traditional approaches typically lack. When your wealth building is happening automatically and your lifestyle spending has clear boundaries, you eliminate the constant low-grade anxiety that comes from not knowing whether you're saving enough or spending too much. That mental clarity alone is worth its weight in gold. Of course, the percentages can be adjusted based on your specific circumstances and goals. If you're aggressively pursuing early retirement, you might shift to a 30/30/40 system. If you're dealing with high-interest debt, perhaps a 20/50/30 approach until you're debt-free. The beauty of the system is its flexibility within a psychologically sound framework. Income Maximizer, boosting your primary income without changing jobs. The 20/30/50 framework is fantastic, but what if I told you there's a way to supercharge it without working more hours or switching jobs? Most people are sitting on a gold mine of untapped income at their current workplace. They just don't have the map to find it. What if the raise you've been chasing is already available to you, hiding in plain sight? Here's something that might shock you. The average employee leaves between $8,000 to $12,000 of effective income on the table every single year. That's like having a stack of cash sitting on your desk that you're ignoring. The surprising part? You don't need to march into your boss's office demanding more money or polish up your resume to capture it. When most people want to boost their income, they immediately jump to the most stressful options, job hopping or awkward raise conversations. Let's be real, both of these approaches are high-anxiety endeavors that often lead to disappointment. The job hunt means interview stress, uncertainty, and potentially starting over in a new company culture. And asking for a raise? For many people, that ranks right up there with public speaking on the anxiety scale. A completely different approach exists that most career advisors never discuss: optimizing the job you already have. Think about it like this. Instead of trading in your car for a more expensive model, what if you could extract 20 to 30% more value from the one sitting in your driveway right now? Let's explore our first major strategy: value visibility. Most employees make a critical mistake. They do great work but fail to document and showcase their contributions effectively. Your manager likely oversees multiple people and projects, meaning your wins easily get lost in the shuffle. Value visibility means strategically documenting your impact in ways that capture management's attention. This means creating a value journal where you track your wins, quantify your results, and translate them into company benefits. For example, instead of saying, "I reorganized the filing system," you'd note, "I implemented a new organization system that saves each team member approximately 3 hours per week, resulting in estimated annual productivity gains of $15,000. Think of it as creating a highlight reel of your professional accomplishments. When management reviews your performance, they see the game-changing moments rather than just the everyday plays. When your contributions are framed in terms of business outcomes, you become significantly more valuable in management's eyes. Moving on to our second strategy, skill stacking. Rather than becoming the world's foremost expert in one narrow skill, You'll see exponentially better returns by becoming reasonably good at several complementary skills that work together. Someone who's pretty good at marketing, design, and data analysis is often far more valuable than someone who's excellent at just one of those skills. Consider this perspective. A specialist might be a 9 out of 10 in one skill, making them valuable in specific situations. But a skill stacker might be 7 out of 10 in 3 different areas, allowing them to solve problems that would normally require 3 different people. This versatility makes you irreplaceable, positioning you for promotions, special projects, and yes, more money. The third strategy builds on this foundation: benefits optimization. Many employees use less than 40% of their available company benefits. This includes education stipends, wellness programs, stock purchase plans, retirement matching, professional development funds, and dozens of other benefits that translate directly into financial value. When you fully leverage these benefits, you effectively give yourself a significant raise without your boss's approval. For instance, if your company offers a 6% 401k match, but you're only contributing 2%, you're literally leaving free money on the table. Or if your employer provides a $1,500 annual education stipend that you're not using, that's like tearing up a $1,500 check every December. As we continue to unlock hidden value, consider our fourth strategy: tax efficiency, which is honestly like finding money you didn't know you had. Many employees overpay on taxes by 5 to 15% simply because they don't structure their compensation optimally. This includes maximizing pre-tax contributions, utilizing FSA or HSA accounts, taking advantage of company-provided tax preparation services, or even negotiating for more tax-efficient forms of compensation. For example, contributing the maximum to your HSA, health savings account, not only gives you tax-free money for medical expenses, but also serves as an additional retirement account after age 65. That's triple tax advantage: tax-free contributions, growth, and qualified withdrawals that many employees completely miss. These 4 strategies combine with 3 others: workload reprioritization, focusing your energy on the highest value tasks; strategic volunteering, positioning yourself for advancement through cross-departmental exposure; and negotiation timing, identifying the optimal windows when your leverage is highest. Let me share a real-world example. Kevin, a marketing specialist at a mid-sized tech company, was feeling financially stuck. Instead of immediately job hunting, he implemented these optimization strategies. He began documenting his contributions with weekly impact reports that quantified his results. He utilized his company's tuition assistance for data analytics courses, creating a valuable skill stack that made him eligible for higher value projects. Kevin audited his benefits package, maximizing his 401k match, enrolling in the employee stock purchase program at a 15% discount, and using the company's wellness stipend. He also worked with the company's tax professional to optimize his withholdings. Within 6 months, Kevin increased his total compensation by approximately $14,000 annually, without a single difficult conversation about his base salary. These approaches leverage resources already available to you that most people never notice. By implementing them, you could increase your effective income by 15 to 20%, meaning more money flowing into each of your 20/30/50 allocation buckets without requiring more work hours. Your investments grow faster, your security fund builds quicker, and you have more to allocate to lifestyle design as well. Strategic side hustles, the 80-20 approach to extra income. But what happens when you've maximized your 9 to 5 potential and still want more? What separates those who create second jobs for themselves from those who build actual wealth machines? While optimizing your current job is powerful, there's a tiny group of strategic hustlers creating income streams that work without them, and their approach couldn't be more different from what most experts recommend. The side hustle world overflows with advice. Scroll through TikTok or YouTube for 5 minutes, and you'll find hundreds of gurus telling you to drive for Uber, deliver food, or take online surveys. The problem? These popular options merely create another job. You work an hour, you get paid for an hour. Stop working, and the money stops too. That's exactly the trap we're trying to escape. The purpose of a strategic side hustle is breaking the time for money connection altogether. If you're already trading 40 hours weekly for a paycheck, why spend your precious free time doing the same thing? Here's the critical distinction most side hustlers miss. Income-producing versus wealth-building hustles. Income-producing side hustles pay only when you're actively working, driving rideshare, delivering food, or freelancing. They provide quick cash, but never create financial freedom since they tie income directly to time. Wealth-building side hustles operate differently. They create assets generating income with decreasing effort over time. You invest significant work up front to build something that eventually runs without constant attention. Picture planting seeds that grow into fruit-bearing trees, initially requiring daily watering and care, but eventually producing harvests year after year with minimal maintenance. This exemplifies the 80-20 approach, the Pareto principle, suggesting 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. Applied to side hustles, it means focusing intensely on creating something valuable up front that generates returns for years with minimal maintenance. According to research, while 54% of Americans have side hustles, only about 12% pursue options that build wealth rather than just creating more work. Most remain trapped in time-for-money exchanges, explaining why many side hustlers feel burned out despite earning extra income. What qualifies as a wealth-building side hustle? The most promising options for 2025 include creating and selling digital products. Online courses teaching specific skills, ebooks solving particular problems, templates, printables, or digital art can be purchased and downloaded instantly. Digital products are created once and sold indefinitely. Your initial investment is primarily time and expertise, with incredible profit margins since there are no physical production costs per sale. Research shows digital product creators earn between $100 and $5,000 monthly, depending on their niche and marketing strategy. Content websites represent another powerful wealth-building option. Blogs or niche information sites generate revenue through multiple streams simultaneously: ad revenue, affiliate marketing, and digital product sales. While these take time to build and rank in search engines, once established, they produce income for years with occasional updates. Affiliate marketing has evolved significantly. It now centers on authentic recommendations resonating with specific audiences. By promoting products you genuinely believe in and earning commissions on purchases, you create a system generating $50 to $3,000 monthly without creating your own products. Print-on-demand businesses are gaining serious momentum. This involves designing custom clothes, mugs, or home goods without inventory concerns. Platforms like Printful or Redbubble handle production and shipping. You upload designs and collect profits. With growing demand for personalized products, these businesses potentially generate $50 to $2,500 monthly with minimal ongoing work. Emma's story illustrates how wealth-building side hustles transform financial reality. As a marketing coordinator earning $62,000 annually, she felt stuck in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle despite using the 20/30/50 system. Rather than picking up restaurant shifts, she leveraged her social media marketing knowledge. Over 3 months of evenings and weekends, Emma created a comprehensive digital course teaching small business owners effective Instagram customer acquisition strategies. The upfront work was intense, approximately 120 hours creating content, recording videos, and building a sales page. Initial sales were disappointing, just a few $100s. Emma persisted, refining her marketing approach and partnering with small business organizations to offer special pricing to their members. 6 months in, her course consistently generated $1,800 monthly. By 9 months, she added a premium tier and community component, bringing monthly income to $2,700 with just 5 to 10 hours of maintenance work monthly. The powerful aspect? Emma's course sells while she sleeps, works her day job, or enjoys free time. She's created an asset-generating income without constant attention, the definition of a wealth-building side hustle. Emma's story highlights not just extra income, but income type. She built a semi-passive income stream working for her with minimal ongoing effort. The difference between remaining financially stuck and building genuine wealth. The initial skill barrier for wealth-building side hustles isn't as high as most think. You don't need to be the world's leading expert, just know more than your target audience and package that knowledge to deliver genuine value. Tools like Canva, PicMonkey, and Adobe Express have made content creation accessible to virtually anyone willing to learn. All these opportunities require significant upfront investment of time and energy, but deliver exponentially greater returns long-term, compared to traditional side gigs. They leverage digital distribution, allowing you to create once and sell repeatedly without proportionally increasing your workload. Passive Income Accelerator, building your money machine. That exponential return phenomenon we just explored is exactly what Warren Buffett was talking about when he dropped that famous truth bomb. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Pretty sobering stuff from one of the richest people on the planet. But here's what makes this quote so powerful. It highlights the literal difference between those who build wealth and those who stay stuck trading hours for dollars forever. Let's be real about passive income for a second. Studies show that while 71% of Americans dream of financial independence, fewer than 3% achieve truly passive income streams. The internet has exaggerated passive income into this magical fantasy land where money apparently falls from the sky. You've seen those ads. Make $10,000 a month while you sleep, with some guru posing next to a rented Lamborghini. Total garbage. True passive income isn't about get-rich-quick schemes or mysterious systems. The uncomfortable reality. Building legit passive income requires significant upfront investment. Whether that's your money, your time, or your skills, before it becomes genuinely hands-off. It's like planting a garden. You don't toss seeds on the ground and return to a buffet of fresh veggies the next day. You've got to prepare the soil, plant properly, water consistently, and protect against pests. Only then, after all that front-loaded work, does the garden begin producing food without your constant effort. This tiny 3% minority who achieve passive income aren't necessarily smarter or luckier. They just understand and follow the passive income pyramid, which I'm about to break down for you. Picture climbing this pyramid with 5 distinct levels, each requiring different amounts of initial capital, time investment, and ongoing maintenance. At the bottom, level 1 includes dividend stocks and REITs. These are the most accessible entry points since you can start with $100 in some cases. Level 1 investments require virtually zero maintenance. Your money works while you literally do nothing. Moving up to level 2, we've got content websites and affiliate marketing systems. These require more initial time but less capital. Level 3 features rental properties and e-commerce businesses, which need both significant capital and time upfront. Level 4 consists of automated digital product businesses, while Level 5 at the very top includes royalty streams and fully automated businesses that practically run themselves. Each level offers a different balance of passive potential versus initial investment. The genius of this approach is that you don't need to jump straight to Level 5. You can start wherever your current resources allow and progressively climb the pyramid as your passive income grows. Here's something most financial advisors won't tell you. Starting with semi-passive income is actually the smartest strategy for most people. Semi-passive means it requires some ongoing effort for optimization and tweaking, not completely hands-off, but way less demanding than a traditional job or side hustle. Think blogging, affiliate marketing, or online courses that need occasional updates and marketing pushes. Semi-passive income creates a stepping stone. As you refine and automate these streams over time, they evolve into more passive forms of income. It's like training wheels for your passive income bicycle. You're not going straight to the Tour de France, but you're definitely getting somewhere. Consider Mark's journey up the passive income pyramid. Starting from zero, Mark first created a small digital product, a $47 template pack for small business owners, which took him about 120 hours to develop. For the first 6 months, it generated around $700 monthly with minimal maintenance. The emotional relief of seeing that first consistent income motivated him to keep climbing. He reinvested that money into dividend stocks, gradually adding more digital products until he was bringing in $4,300 in monthly passive income, combining both digital product sales and dividend payments. What makes Mark's story powerful was the security and confidence he felt as his multiple streams created a safety net. When digital product sales temporarily dipped, his growing dividend portfolio provided stability. By year 3, his passive income exceeded his mortgage payment, giving him the breathing room to negotiate a 4-day workweek with his employer. This all sounds great, but I've got a full-time job and barely enough energy to binge Netflix after work, let alone build a passive income empire. That's exactly why I developed the 90-day Accelerator plan, a realistic approach that allows you to start building your first passive income stream with just 5 to 10 hours per week. The Accelerator plan breaks down the process into manageable chunks. The first 30 days focus on research and selection, identifying which passive income stream aligns with your skills, interests, and available resources. Days 31 to 60 are all about creation and setup, where you build the foundation of your passive income stream. The final 30 days concentrate on optimization and automation, setting up systems that reduce your ongoing time commitment. What makes this plan different is that it's designed for busy people with full-time jobs. You don't need to make some dramatic life change or quit your day job. Just carve out those 5 to 10 hours weekly. Maybe it's an hour before work each weekday, or a chunk of time on weekends. The key is consistency over intensity. Be realistic about time frames too. Building a successful blog might take 6 to 12 months before generating meaningful income, while dividend stocks provide immediate returns but require substantial capital for significant passive income. Creating and selling digital products means front-loading work before seeing results, but once established, they can run with minimal maintenance for years. The smartest approach: start with passive income streams that match your current situation. If you have more time than money, digital products or content creation might be your path. If you have capital but limited time, dividend investing or REITs could work better. The goal isn't to pursue what's trendy or what some influence. The 90-day wealth blueprint, your implementation plan. While finding the right passive income strategy matters, what nobody talks about is the implementation gap that keeps most people broke. Your brain is literally wired to resist financial change. It's not your fault. But this 90-day wealth blueprint tackles both the practical and psychological barriers that have been quietly sabotaging your progress all along. Let's get real about what separates the people who actually achieve financial freedom from those who just dream about it. Successful people have a step-by-step plan that makes the overwhelming feel doable. Knowledge without implementation is just expensive entertainment. The truth is, most people get so excited about their financial goals that they try changing everything at once. Then what happens? Total overwhelm kicks in, and they end up doing absolutely nothing. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest in a single day. You're setting yourself up for failure before you even start. This is where the 90-day blueprint comes in. It breaks down that giant mountain into small, manageable hills that anyone can climb. Each week builds on the previous one, creating momentum that makes the impossible start to feel possible and straightforward. Here's exactly what this looks like. Days 1 to 30, building your financial foundation. Set up essential accounts aligned with the 20/30/50 system. Automate money movement according to those percentages. Identify and address psychological blocks like "people like me don't get rich." Days 31 to 60, optimization mode. Maximize your primary income using benefits optimization and value visibility. Select your ideal side hustle based on skills, time availability, and interests. Research passive income opportunities that match your specific resources. Days 61 to 90, acceleration phase. Launch your first wealth-building side hustle. Implement your initial passive income stream, even if small. Create a long-term wealth plan extending beyond the 90 days. Each phase has a common roadblock you should prepare for. In the first 30 days, decision fatigue can keep you stuck in research mode. The solution: weekly checkpoints where you commit to making just one decision, even if imperfect. During days 31 to 60, motivation typically dips when initial excitement wears off, but results haven't materialized. This is precisely when most people quit, right before breakthrough would have happened. Implement a simple tracking system highlighting small wins to keep your motivation from depleting. In the final 30 days, perfectionism becomes the biggest obstacle. Remember that perfectionism is just fear wearing a fancy outfit. Embrace the launch and improve mindset. Get something out there, then refine based on real-world feedback. Take Daniel, who was making $78,000 annually but remained constantly stressed about money. Despite trying budgeting apps, financial books, and advisors, nothing stuck. His problem wasn't knowledge, it was implementation. When Daniel started the 90-day blueprint, he committed to just one action per week. By day 30, his accounts were set up and automated. By day 60, he had optimized his workplace benefits and started a small content website about kayaking. By day 90, that website generated $125 monthly, modest but significant as his first passive income, creating confidence and momentum. 2 years later, Daniel's passive income covers 70% of his essential expenses. When his company went through layoffs, he felt concern instead of panic. That transformation from financial stress to financial confidence represents the real power of this blueprint. The key difference in this 90-day approach is its adaptability to your current situation. If you can only dedicate 3 hours weekly, the plan adjusts. If you're dealing with debt, the plan adapts. If family obligations limit your time, the blueprint works around them. This isn't about following someone else's wealth path. It's creating a personalized roadmap accounting for your unique resources, constraints, and goals. What works for a single 25-year-old tech employee won't work for a 45-year-old parent with school-age children, and that's perfectly fine. The principles remain consistent, but implementation flexes to fit your life. The most powerful aspect of this blueprint is addressing both practical financial steps and psychological barriers. Your brain has been wired to resist financial change. The instant gratification loop makes saving difficult, financial perfectionism keeps you stuck, and income dependency creates a precarious situation where you need almost all your active income just to maintain your lifestyle. This plan counteracts those tendencies with systems making wealth building nearly automatic. The 20/30/50 system balances present enjoyment with future security. Weekly checkpoints prevent perfectionism from keeping you stuck. And building multiple income streams breaks dependency on a single money source. By focusing on manageable weekly actions rather than overwhelming changes, your brain's natural resistance diminishes. Each small win rewires your financial thinking, gradually replacing stress with confidence, scarcity with abundance, and dependency with freedom. Mindset mastery, the daily habits of wealth builders. The systems we've covered are powerful, but they're only half the equation. What if I told you the difference between financial freedom and staying stuck isn't your strategy at all, but something as small as a 60-second daily habit? While everyone's searching for the next get-rich-quick scheme, actual wealth builders are quietly performing these 4 psychological rituals that transform how their brains process money decisions. Let's be real, we've all met that person who seems to have a supernatural ability to attract money. Maybe it's your friend who always finds amazing deals, or that coworker who somehow turned a tiny investment into something substantial. What's their secret? I spent years studying these wealth-building unicorns, and the truth shocked me. Their investment picks or budgeting systems weren't what set them apart. It was their daily habits and thought patterns. These wealth builders performed tiny, almost invisible daily rituals that rewired their brains to spot opportunities and make better financial decisions automatically. These habits take less time than brewing your morning coffee, yet compound into massive results over time. The first game-changing habit is what I call the Daily Money Minute. Think of it as a quick financial vital signs checkup. This 60-second check-in with your finances keeps you connected without becoming obsessed. Most people either avoid looking at their finances completely, hello financial anxiety, or obsessively check their accounts 15 times a day, stress city. The Daily Money Minute hits that sweet spot of awareness without the emotional roller coaster. Here's how it works. Each morning, take just 60 seconds to review yesterday's spending, check account balances, and note any upcoming bills or financial tasks. That's it. This tiny habit creates a background awareness of your money situation that influences every spending decision throughout your day. It's like having a financial GPS constantly recalculating your route toward wealth rather than driving blindfolded and hoping for the best. The second habit is opportunity scanning, training your brain to identify potential income and investment opportunities that most people walk right past. It's like installing a special filter on your brain that highlights money-making possibilities in your everyday environment. For example, most people scroll through social media mindlessly, but wealth builders are subconsciously asking, what needs or problems do I see that someone would pay to solve? This develops a background awareness that spots opportunities others miss entirely. My client Jason started practicing opportunity scanning during his regular routine. Within 3 months, he noticed a pattern in his industry that nobody was talking about yet. He created a simple digital guide addressing this emerging need, and that side project now generates more monthly income than his day job, all because he trained his brain to notice what others overlooked. The third habit is strategic pessimism. While most financial advice pushes unlimited positivity, actual wealth builders regularly identify what could go wrong with their financial plans and create simple contingency plans. This smart risk management involves asking, what's the biggest financial risk I'm facing right now? What's my backup plan if it happens? By proactively identifying potential problems, they create safety nets that prevent financial disasters and eliminate the paralyzing fear that keeps most people from taking smart financial risks. The fourth daily habit is progress celebration. Most of us hit a savings goal and immediately move the goalposts without acknowledging our achievement. But our brains need positive reinforcement to stay motivated. Wealth builders deliberately celebrate small financial wins to trigger dopamine release, which reinforces the behaviors that created that success. This doesn't mean buying yourself an expensive reward. It can be as simple as taking a moment to feel genuine pride, sharing the win with a supportive friend, or marking the achievement in a progress journal. This habit creates a positive association with financial progress that makes you want to repeat those successful behaviors. These habits require rewiring deep-seated money beliefs that might be holding you back. The 7-Day Money Belief Journal helps with this transformation. For 1 week, write down every thought about money, then review and identify which ones limit your progress. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering alternatives. For instance, changing "I'll never understand investing" to "I'm learning one new thing about investing each week," and that's enough to start. These psychological habits specifically counteract cognitive biases that typically derail wealth building. The Daily Money Minute breaks down complexity into manageable chunks. Strategic pessimism helps us realistically assess actual risks, rather than overestimating financial failure based on stories we've heard. Opportunity scanning helps us focus on future potential rather than past decisions, neutralizing our reluctance to abandon failing investments. My client Tanya's transformation shows how quickly these habits work. Before starting these practices, she would hide bills unopened in drawers and feel physically ill checking her bank balance. 6 weeks after implementing these habits, she reported feeling in control of my money for the first time ever and could calmly review her finances without anxiety. She hadn't changed her income or expenses. She had simply changed how her brain processed financial information. These habits don't require more money, more time, or more financial knowledge. They work regardless of your income level or starting point. And unlike complex financial strategies that become outdated with changing markets, these psychological practices remain effective because they address the human side of the equation. The invisible difference between those who achieve financial freedom and those who remain stuck is these tiny daily habits that reshape how their brains process money decisions. While most people focus entirely on the numbers, wealth builders understand that financial success begins with psychological practices that create compound effects over time. We've covered a lot of ground, but here's the truth. Building wealth isn't about finding some magical investment or having inside knowledge. It's about implementing a complete system consistently over time. The 20/30/50 wealth system works because it addresses both the dollars and cents practicalities and the psychological factors that typically derail people's financial plans. This system provides a comprehensive roadmap to financial freedom with a clear implementation plan, not isolated tactics that leave you confused. Your next 90 days could completely transform your financial trajectory. Are you ready to take control of your financial